Anybody can update with Python. There is no prerequisites. Anybody with zero programming or non-programming can update with Python. So everything we'll be discussing from the scratch ground level to the advanced level here. So how Python was built, how Python was derived. Python real-time applications. What kind of applications are getting developed today by using Python? Python mostly used for what kind of applications? Python usage. Who are using Python and which companies are using Python? And Python features compared with other programming. You can just compare this Python coding, right, with other programming languages, coding wise, length wise, complexity wise. You can check how these Python statements look, right? They look like normal English statements. They're not as complex as other programmings, right? And reasons, what are the reasons why Python is suddenly super popular? And Python scope and job market. The scope of Python means how many years it lasts in the market. Means even if you get updated with any technology, you are supposed to know, right, since how long it will be in the market. That is also important. And job market, current job market of Python, right? These are the things I'll be discussing today's and tomorrow's session, right? I'll be briefing you about all these topics. So first, starting with why Python. I define Python in 5 lines. It's a general purpose programming. It's a general purpose programming language. Multi-programming features we see. High level language, interpretation language, cross-platform language, and user-friendly programming language. So we'll discuss one by one in brief. First one, general purpose. Python is a general purpose programming language. See, before Python, we have got some programming languages like Pascal. If you heard about this, Pascal, Fortran, COBOL, right? COBOL. So these languages are purpose-based languages. These are used for specific purposes, not for all the purposes, right? It's purpose-based languages like Pascal used for developing scientific applications, Fortran for complicated mathematical applications, and a COBOL for business applications. Means they are used for a specific purpose, not for all the purposes, right? But a language which is suitable for developing any type of application, such a language we call it as general purpose programming language. So Python is such a kind of language where any kind of applications can be developed, like automation applications, web applications, animation applications, gaming applications, embedded applications, networking applications, desktop applications, right? Wide varieties of applications can be developed today by using Python. Not only that, Python is widely used today in implementing the domains of different high-end technologies, right? If we talk like data science with Python, like big data, like Spark with Python, PySpark with say, web applications development with this Python, right? And writing scripts, for example, writing scripts in AWS DevOps, and in IoT and robotics, we write like our scripts in Python, right? So next, like, so it's a general purpose programming, any kind of applications. It's not purpose-based language. Fine. Multi-programming features, right? Yes. Let me give a labor example. Multi-programming means, for example, if you want to launch a new product into the market, right? Think that you want to launch a new mobile phone into the market. To attract the customers, what features you want to see within it? Means the features what we see in different other mobiles, everything, if you are embedding within a single piece, it's going to attract the customers, right? In the same manner, Python has got the features of various other programming languages within it. That's the reason we call Python as a hybrid language. What all the features we see in different other programming languages like C, C++, Java, modular programming, scripting, right? All these features, you can see everything within this Python. And it's a high level language. Python is a high level language, right? Okay. There are two types of languages. There are two types of languages. Low level languages. Excuse me. There are two types of languages, low level and high level languages. Low level languages like assembly level, level language. These languages are not human understandable. They are not human understandable, right? And secondly, they are not portable. And machine dependent, right? They cannot run on all the hardware and all the operating system. They're not human understandable. They are not portable. And machine dependent, they cannot run on all the hardware and all the operating system. High level languages, right? Like Python. It's human understandable, means the statements of Python looks like normal English statements, and they are portable and machine independent. They can run on all the hardware and all the operating systems, right? Machine independent, right? Human understandable, portable, and so Python is a high level language. Interpretation language. Python is an interpretation language. Interpretation means line by line execution. We have got compilation languages and interpretation languages. Just observe this. I got some lines of code. What do you mean by compilation? Python is an interpretation language. Compilation example, C language. Interpretation example, Python. So in the case of C language, right, it executes the entire code at once. It executes the entire code at once and displays the errors. If you got any errors, it displays that you got error in the second line or seventh line or ninth line, right? Displays the errors in which lines the error occurring, right? In case of Python, interpretation, line by line execution happens. If you got error in this line, it won't execute the remaining statements. Abnormal termination, terminating the program in the middle of the execution without executing up to the last statement, right? Interpretation, right? Line by line execution we are going to see, which makes debugging easy. Python is a cross-platform language. Python is a cross-platform language. One second. It's a cross-platform language which can run on any platform, right? Windows, Linux, Mac OS. So for Linux, right, if anyone working in Linux, like using Python within the Linux environment, no need of any separate installation, right? By default, Python comes as an inbuilt in any Linux OS, right? Or if you are, what kind of flavor you are using, Linux flavor you are using, whether Ubuntu or CentOS or Red Hat Linux, By default, you see Python as inbuilt, right? No need of any separate installation within this Linux environment. So it can run on any environment, right? User-friendly programming language or programmer-friendly programming language. The Python syntaxes look like normal English statements. They're not as complex as other programming, right? So I'll just differentiate. I'll take a code and I'll try to perform the task in multiple programming language. I'll just show you. Python statements are not even 1/4. The Python coding is not even 1/4 of as compared with any other programming, right? Very less coding, you see, lengthwise. You can check complexity wise, you can check coding wise, you can check how these Python statements look as compared with other programming, right? So general purpose, multi-programming features, hybrid features, high-level language, interpretation, cross-platform, user-friendly, right? Yes. Currently, like if you talk like the current industry, right? Yes. Okay. Now observe two major programming languages. See, if you talk two major programming languages today used in the industry, right? First is like Python and Java. Python and Java. These two are the major programming languages used currently for developing enterprise applications creations. Python and Java. Both are used for enterprise application development, right? But apart from this, Python has got a lot of other things, right? Like used it in automation applications creations, gaming applications, networking, embedded applications, right? Wide other varieties of applications can be created. But if you talk like Java is never preferred for this implementing data science, machine learning, deep learning. For implementing this, Java is never preferred. Python is mostly preferred for implementing these applications. Okay. Python real-time applications. So here before that, like Python has got the features. Python has got multi-programming features, right? Like procedural oriented programming features. Example like C language. It has got the features of object oriented programming. It has got the features of object oriented, right? Yes. Like example C++ Java, it has got the features of C++ and Java, right? Yes. And scripting features. Like shell script, Linux shell script, right? And it has got the features of modular programming, right? Yes, because of this modular programming only today is a lot of boom for Python. We cannot see this in other programming language. Example of modular 3. Nearly 89,300 inbuilt modules Python is providing for different environments, right? Yes. Fine. Procedural oriented, object oriented, scripting, right? Modular programming. If you talk about this Java, right? Java or programmers or developers are strictly restricted to use only object oriented programming. Without object-oriented programming, there is no Java application or program. But in Python, with object-oriented, without object-oriented, with procedural-oriented, with modular programming, a lot of applications can be developed. And we can write many kinds of scripts. If we talk like today, writing automation scripts in AWS DevOps, in robotics, right? In IoT, right? We are writing many automation scripts. And Python has got great boom because of this modular programming. 89,300 inbuilt modules Python provides for various domains. Modules, just observe this, modules. Inbuilt functions we have got. No need to write huge codings. By using the inbuilt models, we can perform various operations. Modules. For data science, right? Python is providing separate modules, using which we can perform the data analysis, data predictions, classifications, clusterings, recommendations. Like we have got models like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, CP, Scikit-learn, right? And even for big data environment, right? Like we have got separate models Python is providing, right? For big data side. And even for networking also Python has got modules. Not only modules, a separate framework itself is provided for networking applications, like Twisted Python. Twisted Python is the framework for networking applications. Even for testing or test cases, Python has got, right, modules for it. And for operating system kinds of activities, for OS kinds of activities, the name of the module itself is OS, where it has got many built-in functions towards this OS kinds of activities. For every database, right, Python is providing a module. For Oracle, for Python to connect with any database, right, we require a module. So it's very simple, like Python connecting with the database, not as complex as other programming. Means just like 1 or 2 minutes of discussion is enough, right? Like just what module is required and the connecting details, that's it. And for Oracle, we have got cx_Oracle is the module using which Python can connect with that. And even for any database like MySQL, we have got PyMySQL, right? Or mysql.connector, right, to connect with this MySQL database. For SQL Server, right? For any database, right? For SQL Server, we got like PyODBC. PyODBC is the module, right, for to connect with this. And if you want to work with any kind of file formats, like working with Excel files, working with PDF files, working with CSV files, comma separated values, working with JSON files, right? Any kind of file formats, right? With Python can have got modules using which we can read, we can write data, right? I want to create an Excel workbook by writing Python statements, execute it, and you can go and check at whatever location with whatever file name you have provided. A Excel workbook, Excel file is going to get created. Okay. So Excel file is going to get created with whatever name you have provided, right? So by writing Python statements only, I can add sheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 into the Excel by writing Python statements and executing. Into sheet 2, I want to write data by writing, okay? I can write data into sheet 2. I can read data from sheet 3. This all we can perform, right? Okay. For CSV files, for PDF files, for CSV files, for JSON files, right? Yes. For any kind of file formats, we have got separate models Python is providing, right? For CSV, the name of the model itself is CSV, right? And for PDF also, we can create PDF files by writing Python statements, right? JSON, right? For JSON also, like JavaScript object notation, like key value notation, right? Yes. Okay. Python real-time applications, right? Python real-time. Next, I'll discuss like that. So not only these are some of the examples where Python is used, right? It has got modules, 89,300 modules for various domains, not only for these computer applications, for other like electronics, like civil environment also, Python has got modules. Okay. Python real-time applications. What kind of applications are going to be developed using Python? So today, like Python mostly used for developing what kind of applications means many varieties of applications we have, right? Among that, firstly, like web applications. Web applications are getting created by using Python. Just 1 minute. Yes, give me a second, right? So today, like web applications are getting developed using Python. You may get a query, right? From last 20-25 years, like Java, .NET, PHP are mostly used for developing web applications. Why again Python? Python, right? You has got many frameworks. Python has got many frameworks. One of the famous framework like Django, right? Django is the most famous framework. At a rapid speed, you can develop a web application using Django framework. It has got its own application, so it has got its own database. It has got its own database, SQLite 3. It has got its own database called as SQLite 3. Even we can connect and configure other database, right? Like Oracle, MySQL also. So that is what the advantage of Django framework. Not only Django, we have got many frameworks like Flask framework, Pyramid framework, Bottle framework, TurboGear framework. But among all this is the famous framework for developing web applications with Python, right? It has got many flexible features. We no need to write, already inbuilt code is available. We no need to write huge codings here. And apart from that, Python today mostly used for automation applications creations, right? Like using technologies like data science, right? Yes. Using like IoT and robotics or AWS or DevOps, right? Yes. So if I talk like in our creation of automation applications, for example, IoT, Internet of Things. Today, if we talk like everything through online, right? Online banking, online shopping, online exams, online education, e-learning, online business, e-commerce, online communication like audio, video chatting, online games, online healthcare, right? So, so if you talk like IoT, it is a physical network or device embedded with electronics, software, and sensors, right? And network connectivity for collecting data, exchanging data, and controlling the things from the place where we are, right? So many automation applications you are going to see in the coming days. So totally the coding goes in IoT, the coding goes in Python. So there is a lot boom for IoT with Python and robotics with Python, right? Today's market. And if I come to this data science, total implementation goes in Python, right? So everything deals with the data, data science, right? Data has got experience, data has got future reference. Using data or data science, we perform like data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clustering, data recommendations. So it's a blend of techniques. Data science is a blend of techniques. The main technique what we see is ML, machine learning, right? Machine learning. So if you observe, It is an approach where we provide some patterns to an application, data patterns providing to an application and making it to predict in the automated fashion. You will provide some data or data patterns to an application, making it to predict in the automated fashion. So we've got many techniques available, machine learning techniques like regression techniques, classification, clustering, recommendation, pattern matching, right? For all these techniques to implement, we require a language, right? So Python is the mostly chosen or mostly used programming for this implementing ML or DL, machine learning or deep learning techniques, right? Where Python is providing many modules visualize for data analysis or visualizations, right? So Python mostly used within this data science environment. If I talk about this AWS or DevOps also, right? Not only like this Python serves as a remedy to any problem in the IT industry, right? So directly or indirectly, you are going to touch Python in the software field. So Python, if you talk about this AWS DevOps, it offers a structural solution in automating the task in every stage of DevOps lifecycle, right? So I can say Python is one of the best scripting language with vast variety of libraries, right? Which allows to write scripts for the improved development lifecycle, right? Yes. So for this automation applications mostly used, and apart from these web applications or automation applications, right? Even Python mostly used for this big data environment today. If we talk big data, right? Just I'll take a minute or two where exactly this Python used within this big data environment means. Today, if we talk like the data getting stored, data storage units, KBs of data, MBs of data, GB